In the film, Mr. Peabody Burrell and his adoptive human son Sherman Charles use the WABAC to embark on time travel adventures. When Sherman accidentally rips a hole by taking the WABAC without permission to impress Penny Peterson Winter, they must find themselves to repair history and save the future, while dealing with strict corrupt agent Ms. Grunion Janney, who wants to take Sherman away from Mr. Peabody's custody. Mr. Peabody is a highly intelligent anthropomorphic dog who lives in a New York City penthouse with his adopted human son, Sherman. Peabody teaches Sherman about history by using a time machine known as the WABAC to travel to the past. After narrowly escaping the French Revolution, and on his first day of school, Sherman's knowledge of the apocryphal nature of the George Washington cherry tree anecdote leads to an altercation with one of his classmates, a girl named Penny Peterson, who calls him a dog and puts him in a chokehold. After Sherman bites Penny in self-defense, which leads to suspension, Peabody is called in for a meeting with Principal Purdy and Ms. Grunion, a Child Protective Services agent. Grunion suspects Peabody of being an unfit parent and plans to visit their home to investigate, threatening to have Sherman removed from his custody if she discovers that he is in fact an unfit parent. The following evening, Peabody invites the Petersons over for a dinner party to make amends. Against Peabody's orders, Sherman shows Penny the WABAC and takes her into the past, where she stays in ancient Egypt to marry King Tut. Sherman returns to the present to get Peabody's help. Penny initially refuses to leave until she learns that she will be entombed with Tut when he dies. While trying to return to the present, the WABAC runs out of power, forcing the trio to stop at the home of Leonardo da Vinci in Renaissance Florence. Penny goads Sherman into piloting da Vinci's flying machine, and they crash. After they resume their journey, Sherman learns of Ms. Grunion's intentions and argues with Peabody. After they crash land in the middle of the Trojan War, Sherman runs away and joins King Agamemnon's army. During the battle, Penny and Sherman are trapped inside the Trojan horse as it rolls towards a ravine. Peabody saves them, but seemingly dies in doing so. Sherman and Penny travel back to before they left in the present, despite Peabody's warnings to never return to a time in which they existed. As they explain the situation to Peabody, Sherman's earlier self shows up. When Grunion arrives, Peabody tries to conceal the presence of two Shermans until the second Peabody arrives back from Troy, having survived the crash. Grunion attempts to collect both Shermans, but they and the Peabodys merge, generating a huge cosmic shockwave. When Grunion persists in trying to take Sherman away, Peabody bites her in a fit of rage and desperation, and she calls the New York Police Department. Peabody, Penny, and Sherman race to the WABAC, but cannot time travel due to a rip in the space-time continuum caused by the merging of their cosmic doubles. A portal appears above New York and historical objects and figures rain down upon the city. The WABAC crash lands in Grand Army Plaza where historical figures and police converge. Grunion calls in animal control to arrest Peabody, but Sherman and all others come to Peabody's defense, and George Washington pardons him. As the rip worsens, Peabody and Sherman take off in the WABAC and travel into the future for a few minutes, undoing the damage. The historical figures are dragged back to their respective eras and Agamemnon takes Grunion with him. Sherman returns to school, having become friends with Penny and deepened his bond with Peabody. Meanwhile, any characters from the past saved some souvenirs from the future and Odysseus pronounces Grunion and Agamemnon, husband and wife, in the Trojan horse.